Hey everyone, Urban Fish Keeper here. I hope you're all having a really good weekend and have had a good week. Today I'm not going to go through anything in particular. I'm not going to do a build or talk about a breed or anything. I really just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update of what's happening in the fish room, and in particular some of the changes that I've had to make or I've made, and why I've made some of those changes. So just before I get started, I firstly just want to say thank you to everybody that subscribed. In particular, I want to also say a big thank you to John, and John will know who he is. He's always reminding me that I need to get my Facebook page done. But I really appreciate John's comments, and you know, whenever I post a video, John's always got something good to say, always something positive. And John lives up in North Queensland, in far North Queensland, and he put a comment up the other day saying, you know, it's about 1,500 kilometers for him to get to a decent fish store. So I think, you know, those of us that stay in main cities and towns and so forth, we're quite fortunate that we can just, you know, 10-15 minutes down the road and we're at a reasonably decent fish store, as where there are some people like John that has to travel 1,500 kilometers to get to one. So thanks, John. I really appreciate the comments, and you know, and good luck with your breeding and what you're doing or trying to do up in North Queensland with your fish. Then I also wanted to just say a big thank you to Matt, and that's Matt with one T. Matt's a colleague of mine that I work with, and whenever we're in a meeting or something is happening, Matt is always promoting the Urban Fish Keeper. I know he does it in good humor, but I do appreciate what he does, and thanks a lot for that, Matt. And then the other person I want to thank is Dennis. Now, Dennis has donated a 4-foot aquarium to the fish room, for me to do with whatever I like and to set it up however I like. So to Dennis, thank you very much for that. It's found a home, and hopefully next weekend I'll start setting it up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around shortly, and then I'll show you the tank, tell you what I've done so far, and then just talk about some of the things that I'm thinking about doing with that tank as well. Also, just quick an update on how the little cubes are going. So if you have a look at this video footage, you can see I've got the Serpra tetras. We got the Hengels first, then we got the Serpra tetras, we've got the shrimp, then we've got the neon tetras, and I've also added in some cherry barbs. Everything is doing very well from a loss point of view. I lost one Hengels that jumped, and I've had one death, which is one Serpra tetra. But other than that, everything in those cubes are doing really well. And as you can see from the footage, everything has settled down and is doing well in that. The other tank that I want to do, excuse me, give you a quick update on is this one over here. And that's the tank that's got the discus fry in that were artificially reared. And it's also got some Hongsloi, Apistogramma Hongsloi in there. And they're doing really well. If you have a look at this footage, you can see that they're growing really nicely. There's a variety in there. There's some turquoise in there. There's some from this pair behind me as well. And there's also from a blue male and a brown blue IP female. So that's all doing really well. The rest of the fish are doing great, no problems. It's definitely, summer's definitely on its way, and it's starting to warm up here in Queensland, and you know, probably no need for heaters and that anymore. It's now definitely warm enough. What I'm going to do is I'm just quickly going to switch the camera around and show you the tank that Dennis donated to the channel, and also then just take you through what I've done to the tank so far, and then what some of my thinking is around the tank. Give me a second, I'll be back. Okay, so here's the 4-foot tank that I got from Dennis. And what I've done at this stage is the tank came on a wooden stand. I've taken the top section of the stand off, covered that in vinyl, and that's now on top of one of these Racket 400 kilo units. The other thing I've done so far is I've put black vinyl on the back of the glass. And other than that, I've done nothing further to the tank. I haven't cleaned the inside of it, haven't done anything further. The one thing I have decided to do with this tank is that I need to try and use 80% of what I've got. So not go out and buy everything that I need to have a look and see what I've got. So I had a couple of thoughts around this tank. One was I thought, oh, maybe what I'll do is I'll build in a side filter, very similar to the filters that I've done before, the little box filter, but we just build it into the aquarium. That was one thought I had. The other thing was just to run it on some canister filters, was the other thing I thought about doing. But then I had a look in my garage, and I've actually got a sump in the garage. So what I've decided to do is down here, I've got a sump. So I've put a sump in. This tank is quite old, and it's I think it's 6 more glass. So I didn't want to take the risk to actually drill this tank, because I was worried it might crack. Although it should be fine, but I was still a bit concerned. So I'm actually not going to drill it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use an overflow box on this tank. And for those that don't know what an overflow box is, effectively you've got a little box that fits over the side of your aquarium. Part of it's inside the aquarium, the other part's on the outside of the aquarium. And it works on the same concept as my video that I did on transferring water from one tank to another. Heating one tank and having it heat up multiple tanks. It works on the same concept where as the water goes up on the one side, it flows through the pipe and goes down. And I'll show you that when that is set up. But I'm going to go with an overflow, run it down to the sump, and then from the sump we'll obviously return it back. Now, excuse me, I've been thinking there's a couple of things I could do with this tank. One is I could bring most of the discus from the 900 tank and put them in here. There's 10 of them. But that may be pushing my luck with them being in such a big tank, and some of them are big. There's 2 breeding pairs in there. Put them in here, we might have a problem, but that was one thought. The other thought was to maybe make this a tropical community tank, but I've decided not to go with that. And the reason for that is when the 950 is empty and all the discus are gone, that's then going to become some sort of community tank, be that rainbows or whatever we decide to do there, but that's what that tank will be. So I thought, well, I'm not going to do it with this one. Do I set this up as an African tank? So do I go with Malawis or Tanganyikans possibly? Go with a coral type sand base, hard water, and fill it with a whole lot of Malawis or a whole lot of Tanganyikans. That's an option that I'm thinking of. Or do we just go way out there and just do something different? Do we make this a marine? And have some fish and have some corals and just try something different, and then maybe even try something marine related in the 20s and see what we can do in that. So anyway, that's just, I wanted to share that with you. That's some of my thinking around this. I've still got a fair amount of stuff that I need to do before we get it up and running, but hopefully next weekend I will spend some time and start setting up the overflow box, start getting some of the piping going. I've gone through the garage and I've had a look. I've got heaters, I've got some pumps. I've got a fair amount of equipment, so I can go either way that I need to go with this tank, whether it be Africans or any of the other options. So that's what I'm thinking around this aquarium, and I'm actually really excited about this and looking forward to it. If I go marines, do I have the lights? Yeah, I've got some aqua ray lights that I use in some of the freshwater tanks. I've also got a fluval light and so forth. So lighting I'm not too concerned about, having to go out and spend money buying lights. But at the same time I can use that same lighting for Malawis or for Tanganyikans, especially Malawis, because their colors will be really vibrant. And if I go with Malawis or Tanganyikans, it's unlikely that I'll have any plants in here. And if anything, maybe some Anubias, but that's about as far as it will go. Anyway guys, I just want to share with you where I'm at. This weekend I really just spent getting this room sorted out, because this section here that you see here, this had reptile cages on and some ant stuff and so forth. And that's now all moved slightly down this side. So what I'll do is I'll grab the camera quickly and I can just show you what this side of the room looks like. So give me a second, I'll just show you that. Okay, so that's this side of the room that I've just showed you. So you would have seen this tank. Then there's some green tree pythons, and there's two smaller ones in little containers on top, and then of course the cube unit on the other side of that. And on this side of the room I've got the discus pair in there, the discus babies which I showed you, then all the 20s that we use for the breeding. Got another one that's got a whole lot of betters in that are being reared or I need to go, and then I've got my 200 cubes on the other side as well that are running at the moment. So the room's starting to come together nicely now. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm really looking forward to doing something. I need to sort something out here from a support point of view, but we'll work on it next weekend. All right, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Have an awesome week. Have a good weekend further, and stay safe. Look after yourselves. Till next time, Urban Fish Keeper out.